Welcome to Texas Championship Wrestling. Another great week of exciting wrestling featuring the Al Perez one-man gang battle. It's a non-title bout, but it's a great event for Al Perez because of the pressure put on him by the California stud. And you'll also see those wild and wacky brothers, the Davidsons, and a lot more right here on Texas Championship Wrestling. Just before our opening match, we want you to see an interview we did with Al Perez on the street, talking about the match with the one-man gang.
You know, one-man gang wants to make a name for himself. Well, gang, it's a non-title match. The best way for you to make a name for yourself is by beating the champion so you can get that title match. Gang, you might be one tough opponent, but in order to get that title shot that you want so bad, you have to beat me in a square circle. So let's go ahead and go for it. Blood and guts, all out.
Well, we just finished our saunter down Main Street with Al Perez. Now let's go to the action of Texas Championship Wrestling, and to the ring at Adam Beach.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the first match of this evening, from Sequoia, California, Mr. Tim Talltree. And meeting him in the ring this evening, from Death Valley, Mr. Angel of Odell. This will be 1 fall, 10 minutes, and your referee, Mr. Ernest Wilkerson.
And we come back to action here in just a second with my guest on hand. The light heavyweight champion, the World Federation, to Shaun Simpson. Shaun, nice to have you sitting in with us.
How you, Bo? What's going on, man?
Well, we're going to see. We got a little action here, and I find it interesting that you are one of the, what would I say, the smallest light heavyweight champions, and that's no discredit. And here's a bout where you've got a divergent size. You've got Talltree, who's rather a lightweight against a heavyweight.
This is a classic example, Bo. You see, you got a heavy man versus a smaller opponent. Now, I'm not too familiar with Talltree's his tactics, but I imagine what he should try and do is try and take advantage of his size by wearing down his opponent. Move around, make the bigger man come after you, tire him down.
Well, we saw that last week when Terry Garvin took on the one-man gang. It was really quite effective until one big blow. That's the one you worry about, I guess.
That's what you've got to be careful of, you know. You make one mistake and it's over.
And yeah, one mistake.
Right.
Now, how you attack is very important, and Talltree's trying to figure out a way here. Working inside, and that might not be the way to do it.
No. To go toe-to-toe with a big man like Angel is digging a grave for yourself.
Of course, we're up. Oh, this is something. There is where you put a man high in the air. That's tremendous strength, Shaun.
Definitely. You know.
Oh, like tossing a little sack of feed around, or one of your mattresses. Here comes the Angel, who had an outstanding bout. Well, there's a good move.
That's what he's got to keep on doing. He's got to keep flying around. He's got to keep moving. He can't go toe-to-toe and keep still.
Attack around the edges. And a work on the perimeter, not go to the midsection,
right.
Not the big part.
Right, like I said, wear him down. Fire him out.
Shaun and Steve Simpson. A great combination. Brothers, you were a boxer at one time, weren't you?
That's
I guess you've been all sorts of an athlete, haven't you? But a boxer in particular.
Played rugby in high school, boxed for the service in South Africa.
Rugby in itself is a treat. I mean, that's without pads and that's without anything. And you're flying all over the place.
Down and dirty.
Down and mean and dirty. And there's Talltree. Look out right here. Oh, a flying body slam. 1, 2, but Talltree's tough.
Talking from experience, that hurts. That really, really hurts.
Now, you and Steve like to work as a tag team, and you do it quite well. You know each other so well.
That's very important in a tag team. You've got to know your opponent as well as you know, the guys you're working with.
Daltrey with a break over there. Look out, here's Ali Farouk. Ernest Wilkerson cautioning the Angel of Death. You always have to worry about somebody outside the ring interfering. As you prepare here for future bouts, defending your championship on Texas Championship Wrestling, we look forward to that.
Definitely looking forward to it. For the past several months, I've been keeping in good condition, training, looking forward to making a good comeback, and looking forward to getting to grips with some good competition.
Right now, the Angel of Death sitting astride Daltrey, wearing and working on his chin and pulling his face back.
I know it's difficult, but this is the kind of situation where you've got to avoid.
You've got to avoid it.
You've got to avoid it.
What do you do when you're in it? You do that.
I suppose you do that.
It takes a lot of courage to try to find out of that. And a great attack here by Daltrey.
That's it.
Still trying to work out of this. And that's a big foot and running into a brick wall. And you got to pile him right now. That may just put him away. 4 minutes gone, and the Angel of Death. Wait a minute, says 1, 2, 3, and he held him down. Well, he didn't even have to put a body pin on, just a hand in the chest.
I was going to say, the famous boxing expression by Muhammad Ali is float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
And stay out of the way.
Yeah.
All right, Daltrey still down. Angel of Death coming back from his misadventure last week against Al Perez. We talked about Al Perez, Shaun, and you're a champion, a light heavyweight champion. And Perez is such a magnificently sculptured physical specimen.
Unbelievable. Al is one of the finest conditioned athletes in the profession today.
Here, let's turn our attention to Adam Beach. You go ahead and he can...
In only 4 minutes and 30 seconds, the winner of match number 1, Angel of Death.
All right. Shaun Simpson here with me, light heavyweight champion. Thank you for joining me in this bout.
It's my pleasure, Bill.
And we look forward to you in the ring. And we're going to go to the dressing room right now. And Dawn has an interview for you with the one-man gang.
One-man gang, I know you're getting ready to go in the ring. How does it feel having a few seconds before you meet Perez?
Hey, I'm not worried about Al Perez. What I'm worried about is what was on your finger when you stuck it in the coffee down there. I know you did it. I remember your face. But let me get back to Perez. Perez, you're just seconds away from getting a beating of your life, son. And I'm the man that's going to give it to you. And I'm going to love every second of it, Perez. You've never had a beating like I'm going to give you. And it's going to be good, just like your mama should have gave you a long time ago, boy. You ain't never going to forget this beating.
p.m. The main event is a tag team match between the Simpsons, Shaun and Steve, versus the Wild and Wacky Davidsons. Iceman King Parson versus the California Stud, with a winner to meet Perez. The Angel versus Terry Garvin, plus 2 other matches. Wear something green and get in for half price general admission. Texas Championship Wrestling, Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
Abdullah the Butcher, Al Perez, Kevin Von Erich, Terry Gardy, Iceman King Parson, the one-man gang, Terry Garvin, Steve Simpson, the Wild and Wacky Davidson brothers, and the Angel of Death. March 22nd, Thunderdome, beaten by pinfall or submission. You don't leave the cage. You're handcuffed for the duration. I hope you don't have any enemies that aren't cuffed.
Well, don't forget about our main event, Al Perez, the champion, against the one-man gang. Right now, we're going to take a break and visit with Shaun Simpson.
Steve definitely was a big influence in me, starting wrestling. It's not the only influence. As you know, my father was a wrestler, and he influenced Steve, and from then I took to wrestling. When I was growing up, I'd always grown up with wrestling, but I started leaning towards boxing mainly. I'm sure you're well aware of that. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago, Steve was wrestling in the United States. He was doing well, and I came over, And it was really then where I actually got fully involved in wrestling. To get back to the question, definitely was a big influence on me, wrestling. As well as the family. The family's always been around it. We've grown up around it. My dad was a wrestler. All my brothers are wrestlers. And I'm sure my younger brother, who hasn't started wrestling yet, will also be a wrestler. Steve and myself, not being the biggest wrestlers in the business, let's face it, size-wise. Not talking about height, talking about size. I've had to develop a style of wrestling where we could cope. What we lack in size, we make up in speed and agility. Now, coordination, stamina, balance, these are all big factors in wrestling. People don't realize it's not all body slams, and there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And a lot of hard work goes into it.
As you know, California Stud has challenged Al Perez to a championship match. Don is with the Stud right now to find out if there's any factor in this about that championship match.
You've created a situation in which you have a chance at the world title. Is it going to happen?
Oh, Don, it'll happen. See, the Stud always makes his opportunities. He goes out and makes his own things happen. I've always worked that way, and that's the way I'm going to be. Now, Al Perez, I've been trying to get your attention. I don't know what it takes. I think I might have got it this time. But if not, I'll go to matchmaker Gary Hart, do whatever I have to do, pull whatever strings I have to pull to get this title shot with you. I deserve it. I'm a young, up-and-coming champion. The people want to see it. I'm the best thing going in wrestling today. But Perez, you got to give me the opportunity to show you that I can take that title away. Just give me the opportunity, Perez, and I'll prove it to you. Because I can do it, and I'm going to show you.
Thunderdome, March 22nd. They say my brother's crazy. 8 men in the Davidson brothers. Steel cage, no place to run, no place to hide.
I like the
Be
cage.
there.
I like the cage.
Be there.
Al Perez, Abdul the Butcher, Iceman King Parsons, Kevin Von Erich, in a steel cage, March 22nd, Thunderdome. Be there.
What do you call a match? 10 men enter a steel cage. Lose by pinfall or submission. Handcuffed for the duration of the match once you lose until the king is crowned. You call that Thunderdome. Thunderdome, March 22nd. I'll be there.
Gary Hart, matchmaker, and we've got really a fun bout coming up, I think. A couple of outstanding characters on both sides. Let's go up to Adam Beach and find out about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, in match 2 for the tag team match, we have the Wild and Wacky Davidson brothers. And meeting them in the ring tonight, both brothers from Louisville, Kentucky. Sweet Daddy Falcone. And your man, Garvin. This match will be one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Your referee, Bobby Turner.
Dawn Batiste is in charge of starting these matches, and she does it quite well with that hammer in her hand. I'm going to stay out of her way if she ever gets angry over here. And with me is a guy who rarely gets angry because he's always in charge. Gary Hart, good to see you.
Good to see you, Bill. I think we're going to have an excellent match here with these Wild and Wacky Davidson brothers.
Oh, there's something, aren't they? The Wild and Wacky ones.
They're as wild and wacky as you can come, and they're always full of excitement.
That's Terry Garvin.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, look at this. Terry's got it all worked out. I think Terry Garvin's wild and wacky. The one with the elbow pad is John. That's John flying through the air right now. It's hard to tell them apart.
You know, when you see Terry Garvin tear into these Wild and Wacky Davidson brothers, you can really tell how tough the one-man gang is, the man he wrestled last.
I know. I tell you, Garvin is an amazing young man.
He's well-conditioned. That has so much to do with it.
Here's Sweet Daddy.
Sweet Daddy's a little younger. He hasn't been in professional wrestling as many years as Terry Garvin, but I really think he has a future. He's a big boy.
I think once he finds out who he is.
That has a lot to do with it. You got to know you're tough yourself before you can really be tough.
That's right. But right now he's got John Davidson in tow. John is the one with the elbow pad. And the one without the elbow pad who looks a lot like him. You never did wear those overalls to school, did you, on Halstead Street?
If you did, you got beat up.
I tell you, if you didn't in Oklahoma or Texas, you got beat up if you didn't wear them. See, there's a difference in locales, Gary.
That's right. Different strokes for different folks.
Hey, speaking of strokes and folks, everybody keeps asking me, what about this Thunderdome? Now, you've alluded to it a little bit, about 10 wrestlers, it's a cage with a top and the door's locked. What else goes on, Gary? Tell me something.
Basically, what it is, it's a steel cage with the top enclosed. 10 wrestlers go into the cage. You padlock the cage. The cage door does not open until the match is over.
Wow.
The only way to stay in the match is not to get pinned or not to submit. If you get pinned or you submit, you're eliminated, but you'll be handcuffed to the cage. Yes.
To the cage.
To the cage until it's over. The last man standing is the key of the fight.
Those guys that are handcuffed, can they get beat up a little bit?
Well, it's according to the temperament of the people that aren't cuffed.
All right, here is John Wild and Wacky Davidson, one of the brothers. He's reaching in there on Terry Garvin.
If you notice, Terry Garvin's a bit smaller than the Davidson, so rather than trying to apply a regular arm lock, he's using his legs and the strength in his legs to utilize the arm lock, but apparently it didn't work. These Davidson brothers, they like to pound on you. They don't stop.
They are going hard. There they are, a little check it off, and Rick Davidson comes in. They do look like that they kind of evolved out of the backwoods of Texas, if you can find those backwoods someplace.
Well, these two guys mainly kept their wrestling career throughout the Caribbean, Australia, New Zealand. They haven't wrestled a great deal in the United States.
They are from Texas, aren't they?
Yeah, they're from Fort Worth, Texas. Sammy Cohen told me a lot about these guys. They're quite popular in South Africa.
What a move by Garvin. See that leg take down, come up, and then Davidson comes back with the hammerlock.
See, they may be wild and wacky, but that don't mean they don't know how to wrestle.
That's right. They give the illusion.
You see, a good wrestler will pick a part of the body, and he'll start working on it and try to weaken that part of the body. Basically, you've got 2 legs and 2 arms, and if you work on...
well, that's basic.
Basic. Well, some guys have 3 or 4, I hear. But basically, what he's trying to do is to keep Garvin down on the mat where he can't use his speed. If he can keep him down, no matter how fast Garvin is, doesn't make any difference because he's not moving.
Well, the wrestlers told me that being on the mat, being held like that is about as debilitating because you're using your strength to try to come out of there, so you use up a lot of energy just being on the mat.
Yeah, look at this move here. See, for these guys move good. See,
that's John.
See, Rick Davidson used about 275 pounds, and he was laying it on Terry Garvin.
Garvin exploding there, Gary. Oh, there's an explosion.
Garvin will fight.
Now, that's not fair, but that happens a lot.
Wrestling isn't fair.
Life and wrestling are not altogether fair. Right?
I've never known it to be fair.
Nope.
Controversial, but not fair.
Well, you should know. You may have admitted the word controversial.
A man's past always follows him.
Trying to make a tag there with Sweet Daddy. That nice move. Look at Garvin pounded there and dropped. And Sweet Daddy exploding, finding his identity. Headbutts all over the place. And the Wild and Wackies are being thrown about. Good move by Sweet Daddy. He's got it all over the place. Tough one right there.
It's hard to stay on it. You've got 2 men coming at you. Sooner or later, you're going to get blindsided.
What I've been impressed with, Gary, is the style that you followed in this Texas Championship Wrestling, that folks that tune in youngsters, oldsters, they can just sit there and know that they're not going to be insulted or put through a meat grinder. They're going to enjoy the entertainment and the competition of this wrestling.
That's what wrestling's supposed to be. It's supposed to be something for the whole family. It's great sports entertainment. And here at Texas Championship Wrestling, I want the family to know that they're never going to be embarrassed when they watch our television or come to one of our arena shows.
And we're very proud of that, that you do that. Here we go right now with Sweet Daddy on top. But Mr. Davidson trying to assert his authority right now as we look at a very handsome Terry Garvin working over in that corner and in that foot. Boy, you watch these guys, they know how to work together.
They got more tricks than a monkey on a 20-foot rope, I tell you.
Yes, sir. A little wild-eyed at times.
Look at this one up here. Look at his face.
I'm not sure he's sure that he wouldn't try to toss some $3 bills off on you.
If ugly was money, that guy'd be rich.
That's true. He's one of those you don't want to stare at too much. He might get the wrong idea.
If you notice here, they're tagging legal. They've got what they're doing.
Yep.
What they're doing is legal, but they're just keeping the guy in the corner. You know, it's tremendous crowd response to Terry Garvin and his Sweet Daddy Falcone, isn't it?
Oh, a double drop. Well done.
That was a double suplex. And if that don't beat you, nothing will.
Let's see now as Rick Davidson comes over to see if he can finish off Sweet Daddy. There's a change again. They got to pick him up, and they're going to do it again.
You notice how many times the Davidson brothers have tagged?
It must have been 6 or 8 times, and they're right here in the last minute or so.
That's the difference in this team. They are a tag team where Garvin and Sweet Daddy Falcone are partners. They're not really a tag team. That makes a big difference.
They're trying to be that, but they don't have that. You can't get over that part of the world, or you're going to get hurt over there. You got to stay out of that region where they can make that tag.
As long as you can keep this guy, Falcone, in a corner where they can tag in and out, and you always have a fresh man in, you take him down on the mat, you wrestle him, and you use your body weight on top of him. Let him fight to come up. And when he starts to fight to come up, it's very easy for the Davidson brothers to make a tag. He's still 8 feet from the corner.
One thing in all sports, whether it's basketball, which I've just finished doing here, and football, whatever it is, you don't want to play the other man's game. No. You want them to play your game, and right now, Sweet Daddy is involved in their game, and they've got him involved in their style, and he's in trouble that way.
As long as they keep him close enough to that corner so they can keep a fresh man in and tag, I believe that they're going to come out of this match victoriously.
Whoa, nice move by Falcone right there, but that big foot.
Big man moves good, doesn't he?
Oh, he does.
Ain't nothing sweeter to see a big guy that can move.
And this big man, sometimes he looks around, you're not sure he's in the same world you are.
Imagine later this evening, the next match, we got the one-man gang, 475 pounds.
Coming up.
Going against Al Perez. That's going to be a match.
One-man gang. I asked him last week about Perez. He didn't want to talk about Perez. He wanted to talk about your Thunderdome.
He told me he came to Texas for the Thunderdome.
Well, that's the gang. You never know what he's coming to do, but he has his mind set about it. Right now, Sweet Daddy has a mindset of trying to get out of this problem. Let his partner Garvin come in for a while, but he can't do it.
See, he's sitting on top of him.
Got a reverse chin there.
He's got him hooked and pulling him back. It's very hard for the man to breathe, and plus it puts a great deal of strain on the lower back.
Sweet Daddy over that corner again. This could be an exchange again as Rick says, oh, yeah, I'll come in and take charge now.
Okay,
these two guys remind me that, you know the movie Deliverance?
Yeah.
They look like that, don't they?
They sure look like they live there. Whoa!
I wouldn't want to go down the river with one of them. Sweet Daddy says, come on, Garvin, give me your hand.
He got the tag.
Here comes Garvin. Fresh.
That's going to, whoa!
He pulled on nicely then, didn't he?
That's it.
Right on top. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, Garvin quickly comes in and blasts away. There it is. There it is. Garvin right over here. And Don Batiste wants to talk to them right quick as this young team. Here's Don. Don?
Hi, Garvin and Sweet Daddy.
Don!
I was wondering what it's like to be a tag team together.
Don, this is our first time tagging in the ring. I tell you what, we haven't worked all the kinks out yet, but we're going to try. We're both from Louisville, Kentucky, and we both got heart. And this big man right here is going to stand by me. Tell him, Daddy.
Let me tell you something. Me and Terry Garvin haven't been together long, but I can tell we're gelling together as a team, and you're going to see a lot more of us in the future.
All right, there they are.
Garvin and Sweet Daddy, you will be seeing a lot more of these two.
And we'll
March 22nd, TV taping, the biggest card ever in Dallas wrestling history. Abdullah the Butcher for the Brass Knucks title against Iceman King Parsons. Terry Gordy versus the One-Man Gang. Shaun and Steve Simpson against the Wild and Wacky Davidson brothers. Al Perez in a return match against the Angel of Death for the World Federation title. Plus Kevin Viner and Terry Garvin's California Stud. Many other wrestling stars in the Thunderdome Kids free when accompanied by an dog. 8 p.m. Metroplex Arena.
by, ready to do his match with Al Perez. And there with him is Dawn to find out just how the One-Man Gang feels about this big event. Dawn?
One-Man Gang and Perez tonight. How do you feel about that?
Hey, wait 1 minute. Don't I know you? Yeah, you work down at Big Wilma's truck stop by the stockyards. Yeah, I know you did. Don't, just forget about that. I don't care. Al Perez, I'm telling you one thing. Yeah, you're a technician out there, but brother, I beat people up. I hurt people. That's all I've ever done in my career, and I'm going to hurt you when I get you in that ring. You are a champion. I don't care what you hold, what championship belt. I know how to hurt people. I don't think you have the guts to hurt anybody, and I'm going to prove it when I step into the ring with you, Al Perez.
You heard it, folks.
Yeah, you serve lousy coffee.
Here we are right now with California Stud, and we're at ringside. And let's welcome in Al Perez, opponent in this match, the One-Man Gang. And let's go to the ring and Adam B.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the main event, from the Windy City of Chicago, the One-Man Gang. Champion from Tampa, Florida, Mr. Al Perez. This will be one fall with a 30-minute time limit, and your referee, John Renesso.
And we're ready to go in this match with the Gang and Al Perez. A non-title bout this week, as Perez had defended his championship against the Angel. Al Perez and the One-Man Gang, and the Gang continue to talk to John Renesto, the referee. As I said, with me here is the California Stud, who, as you may recall, issued a challenge last week before Perez bout with the Angel, and that looked okay. But then you went over and you blindsided the champion. Now, what was that for?
Well, I just wanted Al to be sure to know that I meant that I was issuing a challenge.
Well, I think if he could understand English, he could have understood you talking to him.
Well, he's a Latin heartthrob, so I thought he might have a little trouble.
Did you think that was going to make a bigger impression on maybe the matchmaker or the publicity factor, because you show that you're kind of a real tough guy?
Well, I'm not out to impress anybody. I'm just letting Al Perez know that I'm for real. I'm the wrestler of the 90s, baby.
You're the wrestler of the 90s. You mean you're the next Hulk Hogan, or you're the next whoever, huh?
Yeah, they had to start somewhere, and I'm using Texas Championship Wrestling as my start, and I'm using Al Perez as my stepping stone.
So you got to step on him if you can.
I'm going to step all over.
Have you heard anything yet about a match with him?
As far as I know, we have one worked out. I'll agree to it. The contract.
They have agreed to it.
Yes.
And we should find out about that. But right now, the Perez here with a One-Man Gang. Boy, I tell you, athletically, physically, Stud, Mr. Perez is a superior human being. He is in great shape.
You got to give him that. Al is in great shape.
Oh, but you got to.
That'll sure take it out of you. Get a feel.
475 can do a lot to you,
especially when he's stepping on your throat.
That is kind of hard on the Adam's apple.
One-Man Gang is a big man.
Now, you haven't met this man yet, have you?
I've never had the pleasure of wrestling a One-Man Gang.
You say pleasure with a bit of sarcasm there.
Well, hey, you take a look at my body, you take a look at his. Yeah, he's a big man, but I'm a big man, but I'm a big and powerful man.
All right.
And I have quickness.
You got quickness. Perez has quickness.
Perez has got more of a, probably a swimmer's, male model type body. You know?
A swimmer.
Yeah. You know, not real muscular, but very toned.
He is toned. Okay, I'll give you that.
And outstanding shape. He's in the best, probably the best conditioned man I've ever seen.
He's one of the great ones in the condition, and he just exploded on the one-man gang. Fired away. I got sent word back to Gary Hart to check on this match of yours with Perez. Want to see what this one does. And we'll get if you say it's all signed and it's all delivered, then we got to know. And right now, it is a one-man gang of Perez. See if he can handle this huge behemoth. The gang is not the kind of guy. Okay, boy, it doesn't take long for Gary to answer it. Gary says that it is next week on TV. So that's got to be a main event.
That's great. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Next week on TV, that is a correction.
Next week,
not just down the road.
We're going to have a new champion next week.
Next week, we're going to have a new champion. All right, we'll see that. Watch this. If Perez can handle the gang, does that bother you?
Oh, no, because you can't put the gang.
You can too, right?
You can't put the gang and myself in the same boat.
Well, I wasn't trying to do that because there's a difference there. But here's a 1, 2. Look at that.
Perez would never get that on me. No way.
No way? All right.
Hey, Perez, you got lucky there, buddy.
Okay, we got to have a little sideline remarks here now as the stud works with us. Coming up with a choke. That's the one-man gang. See, Gary Hart worked with the gang a lot. He knows the quality of this man, so he knows what he can do. I guess in that sense, he knows what you can do.
Oh, yeah. Gary knows what I can do. He knows the power that I possess.
Absolute physical prowess here in the California stud as he watches Al Perez take a pretty good rough time at this part of the match.
See, that's what I would do now. I just beat him and beat him.
Well, one thing that I wanted to ask you about. I have not seen your partner, Steve Austin. You guys were a pretty scintillating and attractive and very effective tag team. What's happened?
Well, Steve,
have you separated?
No, Steve and I still work together from time to time, but right now I'm pursuing more of I'm looking for a single championship.
You're going to be a solo act right now.
I'm going to do a solo shot for a while.
Okay. Trying to acquire a championship and going for the big one, that's not a bad deal because you have a good reputation. The one-man gang doesn't like officials around, and he looked away, and Perez caught him.
You can't give Perez that opportunity. He'll capitalize on it every time.
Now Perez hammering down, trying to take the big man down again. One of the things a big guy has to do is keep his feet. And Perez, well, a great drop kick. I hope the ring ropes can hold him.
Hey, Perez, you watch out, baby. You watch out.
Al Perez glancing over this way, and the one-man gang through the ropes. Want to pull him back in, can he? No. So we got the gang underneath the, oh, that's tough. He's underneath the bottom rope. Part of him out, part of him in. About 225 pounds is in, and 225 is out. Now he's all in. Perez showing a lot of toughness in there, stud.
He's dishing out a lot, but I'm going to dish out a lot more than what the gang's doing right now.
If you make that move to a championship, what does it mean to you in the profession? How much is that?
Just the prestige, the money increase is the main thing. You know, that's.
You're a demand, then, aren't you? You're a demand item.
Just you go out doing talking, speeches everywhere.
Then you can turn down offers, huh?
Oh, I know. I've already turned down offers.
Have you? Okay.
All the time.
You should have known that.
You should have, Bill. I don't understand you sometimes.
All right, Perez working on that arm. He has worked on every part of the gang, and whoa, fine knee drop. Oh, that'll put your chin out of location.
Got that right.
And Perez working. We're 6 minutes into this bout right now. And Perez in our main event here on Texas Championship Wrestling. Are we putting class back into professional wrestling? A class of wrestling that every member of the family can enjoy from beginning to end. And Perez is trying to make an end to this one with a one-man gang right now. California Stud sitting in with me as we got official word moving along here that the Stud, has a championship match against Al Perez on television here next week. We look forward to that one.
Oh, definitely.
No matter how this bout comes out, because it's a non-title bout.
It doesn't matter. I'm looking forward to Perez.
I think Perez shook the whole ring, moved it about 6 inches in when it came right over in our lap here. Look at Perez driving it like a linebacker in football. I imagine Perez, Stud, had something to do with this bout because you rather humiliated him in that bout a week ago. So I think he has an idea he's going to get even.
Well, that's about all it's going to go. He's just going to have an idea.
And Al Perez moving in on the big one-man gang. I think he's really put the gang in trouble right now. And to throw that shoulder in there, Al Perez. Jab up, stepped right into that kick. On top now, this is about 475 pounds to move it. There's a leg on the bottom rope. And a convenient move that protects the champion, protects the bout. And the gang hammered away on the top of the head of Al Perez. And lay a few tattoos on him up there, a few bruises on him.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. Tattoo him black and blue.
And the choke on the inside. So Perez in trouble. Kind of hard to move out. That trying to move a Texas steer off the top of it.
King is a big man.
A one-man gang moving out of the way of Al Perez right now.
If I was gang, I wouldn't let up on him. I'd stay on Perez. He's a well-conditioned athlete. You got to get on him and stay on him.
A one-man gang trying to...
Perez, get used to it. Get used to it, Perez.
Okay, that was Stud and his doing a little color with me and also giving Al Perez a little color. A one-man gang over here in the corner right above us. Here's Al Perez choked on the middle rope.
Hey, get used to it, Perez. Get used to it, folks. Get used to it, huh? Better enjoy it, because that's all I'm going to give you.
Al Perez right here in front of us.
Nothing but pain, boy. You understand me?
Well, we've got this. I hope he just picks us apart here. You're causing him to be distracted from his normal duties right now. He's got a clothesline right there. You kind of like seeing him get beaten here, wouldn't you?
I just want to see the gang wear him down. It just makes my job that much more easy.
It'll take him a week to get ready then.
He'll still be healing in a week.
1, 2, and foot on the rope again. He protects himself again. Oh, when you got 475 pounds on you, you might do the same thing.
You have to be really conditioned to take on a man the size of the gang.
You've been working out anywhere special now since you are on this crusade to become champion of everything?
Bill, I train hard every day. You know that. I can't even believe you asked me that. You know I train hard.
I know you train. I thought maybe you were doing a little special work. I think I'd find something.
My game plans work this far. I want to change it.
Ah, what a move by the one-man gang. Spreading him out. Dropping him on his back. And to try to split him right here. Jam in the chest.
See that expression on Perez's face?
Yeah.
You're going to be seeing that a lot next week.
I'll look for it. I'll look for it. In case you just joined us, we're talking to California Stud sitting in with you here as Al Perez and a one-man gang battling our main event. And Al Perez and California Stud will meet in a championship match next week on Texas Championship Wrestling. You going to be in the Thunderdome?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't miss that for the world.
Boy, I tell you, that's the first thing.
I'm looking forward to that, too.
You're going to win that, I guess.
Be carrying my shiny new belt, be in the Thunderdome.
Going to be a champion, going to do Thunderdome, going to do everything.
Oh.
You're going to have to go through the gang on the Thunderdome. That's why he came down here.
I'm looking forward to it.
Flew all the way in from England.
Don't worry about taking a
I'm ready to take on all challenges.
What is wrong
Right now, Perez is all upset. And he is having a hard time with the gang.
You haven't seen hard time.
We haven't seen him until next week, I'm sure. There goes Perez. Here comes the gang. Ooh, wraps him up. Al Perez certainly knows he's been in a physical battering size contest here. Let's see if the gang is going to, if the ring will hold him right now. The question is, will he go right through Perez and the bottom of the ring to the floor?
I hope not. I think this is a sturdy enough ring.
Great move by Perez. And Perez may have a chance right here. If he can turn it around and come back. One-man gang shaking up right there. The knee. And Perez feels good about it right at the moment. One shot, another shot, another one. And Perez really opening up. Lefts and rights and battering on the one-man gang. You can hear that, feel that all the way to Halstead Street in Chicago. An uppercut. And the gang lifted right up into the top. Another move by Perez. He is wound up, hot, and ready to go.
You won't get that opportunity with me.
I would imagine you two will have a very fast-paced bout.
Nothing but. We're two very conditioned athletes.
You're about the same size. Maybe you're a little bigger, right?
Oh, by far.
By far.
You can cut me in half and have two Al Perez's.
Okay. One-man gang. Perez slides. Comes underneath. Great. Great move. Whoa, look out. What do we got here now? Perez just left the one-man gang and came outside. I guess he kept thinking that the stud was going to talk to him. But we have got here on the floor Al Perez and California Stud. Perez heard all those remarks he was making down here. And now, in advance, Perez says, hey, I took all that. Ah, there they go. There they go. Working on each other. Right out on the floor. Banging away. Well, there's the match. Oh, Stud just popped into the corner post. He took a hard shot right there at Perez. Really got him with the California Stud.
Gonna get yours.
The California Stud might be ready to go next week. I don't think he's ready to go right now. And we're going to come back and talk to you about all the results. And we'll be back in just a moment as Al Perez and California Stud look to the future next week, right here on Texas Championship Wrestling. We'll be right back.
Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. The place, the Metroplex Arena, 7 p.m. The main event is a tag team match between the Simpsons, Shaun and Steve, versus the Wild and Wacky Davidsons. Iceman King Parson versus the California Stud, with a winner to meet Perez. The Angel versus Terry Garvin, plus 2 other matches. Wear something green and get in for half price of general admission. Texas Championship Wrestling, Sunday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
Abdullah the Butcher, Al Perez, Kevin Von Erich, Terry Gardy, Iceman King Parson, the one-man gang, Terry Garvin, Steve Simpson, the Wild and Wacky Davidson brothers, and the Angel of Death. March 22nd, Thunderdome. Beaten by pinfall or submission. You don't leave the cage. You're handcuffed for the duration. I hope you don't have any enemies that aren't cuffed.
Talk live and get updates on the major wrestling cards across the country. Hear some of the juiciest rumors about your favorite wrestling superstars. Perhaps talk to them. Call 1-900-420-3373. Calls cost $2 per minute. Kids, get your parents' permission and call the Wrestling Gap Line. Better than a body slam, more fun than a pile driver. It's the only phone line with the inside scoop on the entire wrestling world.
Time now to bring you up to date on the backgrounding of Texas Championship Wrestling, behind the scenes. You may not realize this, but it takes about 40 professional people to produce a copy of Texas Championship Wrestling on videotape, to bring it to you. 40 professionals behind the scene every week, working many, many hours to help ensure that when you watch Texas Championship Wrestling, that you will be entertained to the maximum. They all have spent many years specializing in television sports events, from National Football League football to Olympic coverage. People like our director, Earl Goodrich, who has over 30 years of directing to his credit. Many years ago, Mickey Grant and I sat around and devised in our mind how to bring a new revolution in television to professional wrestling. And so then we, in cooperation with Gary Hart and Fritz Von Erich, we produced a new style of television wrestling. and it was a sensation across the nation, syndicated around the world. We became known in the Mideast and in Europe and in Japan as kind of the revolutionary new way to show professional wrestling. So Gary Hart, Mickey Grant, and I have come back together, and we're going to revolutionize professional wrestling. Mickey's had a tremendous career in producing some outstanding films, such as the Coochie Tunnels and China Run. And now we'd like to turn our attention to Mickey and to Gary Hart as they discuss the new era.
How do you compare Texas Championship Wrestling with World Class that you were an essential part of in the 80s?
Well, like I was saying, our show was for the 90s. World Class Championship Wrestling we developed in 1982. And it was a wonderful show for the 80s. And I think, unfortunately, some people are still basically cloning what we developed at that time. And I think the kind of thing you have to do in the 90s, things are much more competitive. So I believe we have to be far more creative. I think that we also have to respond to the wants and needs of the people of the 90s. The audience we had in the 80s, they're now in their 30s and 40s. They have different wants, different likes. And at these particular times we're living in right now, at the beginning of 91, are very stressful. With a war situation, people are looking for entertainment which isn't fact. They're looking for entertainment which is streamlined and does the job for them. When they turn the show on, they know when it's over, they're going to feel better about life.
As you had said earlier, Mickey, that more highlight matches, 3 matches rather than 6 matches. What do you think of that?
I think whenever you go to 7, you very well may, I'll start over again. I think whenever you go to 7, in a 1-hour show, it's pretty hard to schedule very powerful, the incredibly competitive match in that period of time. To me, when I see shows that have 7 matches in them, it's just my impression. Some of them are sort of filler matches, throwaway matches.
Basically, we have fewer matches on Texas Championship Wrestling. We go with 3 matches rather than the customary 6 to 7 matches per tape. We feel that by having fewer matches, we can bring you more competitive matches, where it would be a lot more entertaining. We have fewer matches, but I think by doing that, we have more competition and more exciting matches than you would normally see.
Every match that you've put together in our show is a high-quality match. There's no matches that are somewhat filler or anything like that. Everything is designed to be totally entertaining and challenging to the audience.
Al, the match is over. You got into the confrontation with the stud. You got a lot of pressure on you for this championship match next week.
Yes, I do. When you get in the ring with a man like One Man Gang, 475 pounds, it's so easy to get hurt. You cannot be distracted for anything in the world. But Stud, you proceeded and you did get my attention. You want this type of match? I'm going to give you this type of match because I've never backed down from anyone. I've faced tougher, bigger, stronger men than what you seem to be. I'm not taking nothing from you because you may have a lot more than what shows. But, brother, I got the heart, the drive, and the determination to be a champion. That's why I am a champion. You want to fight, you want a match, you want a title match. You got it. You got my attention. Now let's see if you can shake me off.
I know we take one match at a time, but just one comment about the Thunderdome coming up.
Whoa, Thunderdome.
They change of attention.
Yes, it is. 10 men enter. You lose by disqualification, by pinfall, whichever. You get handcuffed for the duration of the match. It's one tough match. I'm looking forward to being in it, though. I like competition, and that's probably about the best competition there is.
You got a couple of tough matches coming.
Yes, I do.
Thanks, Al.
Thank you, bro.